tell a lot of stories in the book. It's a story-driven book, but my favorite story in the book is one about my little brother Davy and the fish. I have identical twin brothers. I have one brother who's just 11 months younger than me, and then I have identical twin brothers who are 9 years younger than me. So when my identical twin brothers, the youngest, were about 4, one of them had an appointment at the doctor. My dad decided to take the other one, Davy, fishing for the very first time. And they went out and they threw some poles in the water, and before long, Davy had caught his first fish. It was a tiny little bluegill. I'm not going to give you a fish story, but it was about this big. And he pulled it in, and Dad took it off, and he was ready to throw it back, and he felt Davy tugging on his leg, saying, "Dad, Dad, can we keep him? Can we keep the fish? Can we keep the fish?" And they found an old tin can and tossed the fish in, and Dad thought, well, by the end of the day, he'll forget it, and we'll just leave it there. Well, the end of the day came, they started to pack up and walk back, and he said he felt little Davy pulling on his pant leg again. "Dad, Dad, we forgot my fish. We forgot my fish." So Dad grabbed the can, and Davy drove. He sat in the back seat with it the whole way home, talking to his new fish. He had a new pet now. So got home that afternoon. We had a service, church service somewhere. My dad was a pastor several hours away. So we went that night on a hot summer day, didn't get back till about midnight. And the first thing Davy did when we got home at midnight, after wiping the sleep from his eyes, he was sleeping in the car, he ran up to the porch and looked in, and he found his fish dead, belly up in the can, so he was distraught. He cried for a few minutes. We were all trying to console him, and pretty soon he looked up at my dad, and his tears just immediately dried up, and he said, "Dad, you always said Jesus can do anything." Dad said, "Yeah, I've said that." "Jesus can heal my fish, Dad. Pray for my fish." So my dad, being the great man of faith, said he prayed the best prayer he could ever pray over a dead fish, and it pleased Davy enough that he went off to bed. So the next morning, Davy was the first one up, and he ran out to the back door, and the first thing he did was check on his fish, and I saw it with my own two eyes. The fish was alive as alive could be. I was about 14 years old at the time. We were all ecstatic. And then the question we had to ask was, what do you do with a resurrected fish? You gotta buy an aquarium, you gotta buy rocks, you gotta buy an aerator. We named him Lazarus, we dropped him in the tank, and he lived for years after that. And the moral of the story that we always told was, if God cares enough about the hurt feelings of a 4-year-old boy to resurrect a dead fish, how much more does he care about your hurt feelings and your needs, and how much further will he go to help you? And that story is in the book, and that is definitely my favorite story.